None, no surface currents below 100 meters. There's no waves below 100 meters. There's no what else below 100 meters? Current, light, so there's no plants, nothing green below 100 meters, no photosynthesis. So those phytoplankton that are eaten by the zooplankton, really in that top 100 meters. After that, the ocean gets fairly boring after the top 100 meters from a human perspective, okay? As far as the food web and all that. Trade winds are the winds that Columbus sailed on to get across the Atlantic Ocean. Just take this arrow, and if you want, put it right on your map like this, okay, from the northeast to the southwest, and they traded from Europe to the New World, okay? They brought this stuff from Europe over here. Remember, Columbus landed in the Caribbean, not up here like Plymouth Rock or anything, because the winds took them like this, okay? Now, to get home, is he going to sail back into the same winds? No, he's going to find a different way. In fact, go up the coast a little bit, and then find these westerly winds that blow like this from Philadelphia area up toward England, and Spain in this case, and Italy again, right? So sailing across the Atlantic this way without an engine, right, Dave, you have to be able to go up further up in middle latitudes. Middle latitudes are where we live. By the way, most of the rest of the year, we're only going to look at the northern hemisphere of the Earth, and we're going to cut that into thirds. The tropical third, the middle latitude third, where we live, and most people on Earth live, and then the polar third, okay? So we first started with the trade winds at the tropics, the equator, going this way, and then the westerlies going this way. Can you see why this water moves in this circular pattern? Okay. Coriolis effect, did we talk about it on the globe? I'm getting confused. We did not. All right. Santa Claus at the North Pole. When the Earth rotates once, how far does Santa Claus move?
None.
None, right? He's only going like this. 0 miles an hour for the whole day. If I live on the equator and I wait a whole day, relative to the center of the Earth, how far have I moved?
A circle.
A circumference, good, which is 25,000 miles. If I go 24,000 miles in 24 hours, how fast am I moving?
1 mile per hour.
1 mile per hour? Dave?
Did you say 1 mile per hour?
No, 24,000 miles in 24 hours is?
10.
Dustin? 1,000 miles an hour. That's faster than the speed of sound. Okay? So people at the equator, relative to the center of the Earth, are moving 1,000 miles. That's the speed of a bullet. A bullet from a pistol is moving 1,000 miles an hour. So people further south, this is the concept, stay with me, the further south you live, the faster you're moving compared to people up above, right? Are you with me? Mm-hmm. Now, if this is rock and land, it doesn't matter. It feels like it's all moving at the same rate. But if it's water or air, guys, the air moving further to the equator is moving much faster than the air up here. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm air and I could aim myself south, can you see that I have to aim a little to the left to hit the same place, the same longitude line? Because I'm moving 600 miles an hour here in Philadelphia, and I'm moving 1,000 here. I have to account for that extra 400 miles an hour. It's just like throwing a football at a receiver. You don't throw it at where the guy is, of course, right? Because he's running. He's running faster than you are. Now, if the quarterback's running, sorry to make a remote gesture, but the quarterback's running at the same speed that the receiver is, then you can throw it at the receiver, and the fact that the ball has a little motion this way, it'll still hit him. But generally, the person throwing the ball isn't moving, and the other person, you have to lead the person, right? Well, of course, air can't do that. It can't think of where it's going to aim, so it always ends up a little bit behind. Now, let's take a look. We're going this way, right? And the air is moving faster here, so it's behind where it should be. What direction is my finger moving? To the south. Well, yes, in this case south, and to the east, to the right. I was just trying to go to the right. It doesn't matter where you are in the northern hemisphere, you will continually be off a little bit you won't go enough to the left, which to us looks like it's curving to the right. Okay, so for the northern hemisphere, wind and currents deflect to the right. Okay? If you did the exact same argument for the southern hemisphere, it would be to the left, but we're not going to do southern hemisphere. So now you've got currents turning to the, oh, this is very, very gradual, over thousands of miles, not something you would notice, you know, a piece of air moving through Delaware County or something like that. So you've got this wind and currents now moving in this to the right clockwise pattern in the northern hemisphere. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
That's called the Coriolis effect. It's fairly important as far as these big general changes to water and to air. Okay? All right, deep currents, slow, deep, dense, cold, salty water. Does that make sense? They're all the same thing at the bottom of the ocean. If I'm cold, I get denser, right? Cold things get smaller. If I'm salty, do I get denser? Or if I get more salt, do I get denser or less dense? More dense. So where am I going to end up? At the bottom of something, right? If I'm cold and salty, I'm going to end up at the bottom of something. So water from the poles is cold, and it sinks to the bottom because it has more salt builds up in it, okay? On top of it, you're going to have tropical water on top of it. Not at the poles, okay? So let's go over to our map. If you don't need to draw this, but if you already have it, it's good. Our map of Europe. This is Spain, Italy, Mediterranean Sea. Of course, none of this is to scale at all. So, the Mediterranean Sea, how did it get so salty? Well, there's a whole lot of evaporation. The equator is right here, okay, a little further south. So the equator, this is tropical region, a lot of evaporation. This water is moving which direction?
North.
What direction is this?
South. Perpendicular.
Yeah, which is what direction? If I live here, this is
East.
what direction?
That's north.
South.
This is north. This
Yes.
is south. What's
East.
this?
West.
What?
This is west.
North or southeast, southwest, southwest.
Look, you're here. Something moves like this. What direction do you
Towards
have
you,
to look to see it?
straight, directly in front of
This
you,
is east.
straight,
Directly, not in front of you.
behind you.
Up.
That's north.
I was going for up, folks.
Oh.
Alright, turn that movie up
Well,
when
you were
move.
going like that. That means straight.
So this.
Yeah, that. That's not
On
above.
the map, this is up. This is the Earth. This is the moon. You're the moon. This is up.
Shut up.
Good. All
Yeah,
right.
take your hood off.
Ross.
So, look, that's right. I can't draw in 3 dimensions on here. So this is above the top of the water. Guys, the bottom, the deeper water is in the